on educating the next generation to succeed in life and business through Redy. It's a life skills education company. All right, that's better. Thanks. And my company, Wealth Redy, we're a financial planning firm. We help families and business owners to plan for their future, build wealth, save on taxes, and invest money to give to the next generation. My wife actually was supposed to be here today, but she's not feeling well. We're actually expecting a baby in February, which we're super excited about. And so she's kind of on bed rest right now, but she is a master trainer and a nutritionist. And so our family goal is to help people in the arenas of health and wealth. I'm the wealth guy, she's the health girl. And so that's our passion in life, is to help people live a better life with their, physical well-being and their financial well-being. So now I won't hesitate to introduce Andrew. Mr. Andrew Redy is a service-disabled veteran and owner of Redy Protective Services, LLC. Andrew retired from the U.S. Army in 2014 as a major in the Military Intelligence Corps after 21 years of service, and settled in El Paso, Texas with his wife, Sarah, and two daughters, Ariana and Anise, and began working in various intelligence and management positions, both stateside and abroad. Andrew has accumulated over 7 years of security and intelligence experience in the Middle East, working with and training foreign military and law enforcement personnel. Mr. Redy has earned a Master of Arts degree in Leadership and Management and a graduate level certificate in Project Management from Webster University, as well as a Bachelor of Arts degree in Criminal Justice from St. Martin's University. He also completed the Certified Cyber Intelligence Professional and Certified Workplace Violence and Threat Specialist certifications from the McAfee Institute. Without further ado, here's Andrew Redy.
Thanks so much for that intro, Matt. I really appreciate it. And thanks to Ops for Vets and Al as well for setting us up to talk about myself and Redy Protective Services. So I'll start off just introducing myself here. I was born and raised in Wisconsin, very small town, village, actually, it was classified as. And I know we normally like to kind of start off with a joke or some sort of story, but don't really have any jokes. Pretty serious guy most of the time. As far as stories, I have a ton of them, but I'm just going to kind of talk about that picture in the lower left-hand corner there. There's 14 people down in that picture. That's a graduating class for the Ranger Indoctrination program. I entered the Army in 1993 and as a private, enlisted private, and went through basic training in Fort Benning, went through airborne school and completed both of those successfully, then went into the Ranger Indoctrination program. And that's sort of the gateway before you go into Ranger Battalion. At least it used to be back in the 90s. I think things have changed quite a bit since then, and that's a good thing. So out of 120 people that started, those 14 people in that picture, that's the graduating class. So it's difficult to push through adversity. It's difficult to keep going when you're in pain, but I have that drive. I know many other people do, and my ability to pass through those difficult times really set the stage for my future. And now my I take that into my company, my work ethic. I continue to push, find answers, find solutions. So I did complete that course. I went on to serve in 3rd Ranger Battalion at Fort Benning, Georgia. I stayed in the infantry for about 8.5 years, switched over into a Patriot System missile repair. It's a technical career field with electronic maintenance for the Patriot. Decided, I did it for a few years, and then boom, probably not the best word to use, but 9/11 happened, and I wanted to do more. I put in a application to attend officer candidate school. I was selected for that. I was branched as a military intelligence officer. I served 21 years in military intelligence field. Started off as a lieutenant, retired as a major, and loved every minute of it. Very, very happy I was able to do what I did. So on this slide, it also says over 20 years of intelligence and security experience. I equate that to my time in the military, in the intelligence field. Much intelligence and security is quite combined in the Army, at least. And during that time, I managed intelligence organizations. And then upon retirement in 2014, I began to work in the private sector in security and also intelligence jobs, management mostly. Worked over in Afghanistan as a contractor, in Iraq, in Abu Dhabi, in the UAE, and now I'm currently in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Riyadh, enjoying the nice warm weather over here. So Matt already mentioned my sort of education, so we'll just go on by that and move on to the next slide here. All right, so Redy Protective Services, I established it in 2018 in El Paso, Texas. I didn't mention, but when I retired, that's where I settled down. A little bit different than Wisconsin, but I like the mountains and the desert. So Redy Protective Services is a certified service disabled veteran-owned small business. We do have the SAM code, which means I can bid on government contracts, and we serve everybody, communities, governments, individuals, and I'll talk about some of our services shortly. But my information on how to contact the company and myself directly, I also have a link to our website if you'd like to visit that. It has a good explanation of our services and some of the things we have, who we are, what we do. So that is there. Appreciate it if you would take some time, take a look when you get a chance. All right, so this is what we do. The mission of our company is to provide reliable intelligence and security consulting and training services to our clients. So why did we start? That's always a difficult question for me to answer, because I sort of felt like I had to do this. It wasn't so much that I don't like working for other people. It's that I saw a gap in getting security and intelligence services for small companies and individuals. While I was in the military, I did a lot of overseas traveling with my family in Europe. And when we got places, even if they were, like Italy or France, we'd go to visit the touristy places. And I was always concerned about what if we get pickpocketed? What if we get scammed? What if we get robbed? What if? If I feel like that, and I may be a little bit paranoid, but I feel it's with good cause. And I think a lot of people are as well. So I have a lot of hesitation and a lot of anxiety about traveling overseas, and even in the States. More recently, you go to a city on a vacation and there's theft, there's protests, there's demonstrations. I wanted to start this company so that we could provide our services to everyone, not just big companies that can afford professional security organizations within their corporation. Who we serve, we serve everybody. We'll serve government contracts, companies as from a consulting perspective, religious institutions of all denominations, schools, individuals, groups, anybody who needs either intelligence or security consulting services, we will help. All right, so what is a security consultant? Security consultant is a professional, not just a person who says, hey, I'm going to be a security consultant today. A professional, trained, educated, qualified, experienced person or group of people. And they analyze security risks and assess risk levels, provide recommendations and solutions so that individuals or those companies, our clients, can implement safety and protection measures. Security consultancy can focus on many different security aspects. There's more than just physical security and IT security. While those are the main two categories that everyone likes to use, there's consultants that just do active shooter training, or insider threat training, or personnel security training, information security training. So there's many different aspects, and a good security consultant will specialize in maybe one or two of those, or maybe all of them. So security consultants, they can work as an employee of a company, and usually they're not full-time employees for that company, but they're consultants to a certain company on a regular basis. The other option is that they can be more independent and just offer consulting services as needed, and they'll service multiple clients simultaneously. So they don't only work just for one client. Some of the responsibilities of what a security consultant will do or provide is security planning and development. And this is in the form of security plans, programs, or policies for an organization. They'll do critical asset identification to really identify what resources that you have need the most protection and focus security on those. Don't focus security on things that aren't really at risk or not critical. Threat and vulnerability assessments will identify those risks and threats and vulnerabilities, and then developing risk mitigation strategies. And that's when we work with clients to help them remove or at least reduce the impact of those threats. All right, who needs a security consultant? Everyone. Everyone can use one. Whether you know it or not, everyone can use one. Small businesses that can't afford their own security office or personnel, use a consultant. Large businesses, if you want an outside assessment so that there's no bias involved, hire a consultant. They'll come in, do an independent assessment. Religious institutions, there's been an awful lot of, thankfully not recently, but in the past, there's been a lot of religious institutions looking for ways to give their parishioners some assurance that they are safe and protected there. Schools, same. Organizations that send employees on official travel. I'll talk about some of the things that we provide in a little bit, but official travel for organizations is very important, because every time you send an employee on official travel, they're at risk and the company has liability. And then lastly, individuals that really just want protection for their own property, their families, their loved ones, their homes, and such. All right, so this is sort of a breakdown list of the best times, or at least what I've seen, the most needed times for a consultant. For businesses and organizations, the big times are when there's a change in leadership or management. They want a fresh look at their security plans, processes, procedures, policies. They really want to know, why am I spending all this money on security? Is it worth it? Is it a waste of money? So they just want that fresh look. A business or a company that moves to a new location, different threats, different vulnerabilities, different risks. You really want to get a new look when you move locations. Or if the company has a large turnover rate, or is reorganizing, restructuring, that's a good time. if companies looking to cut costs and they've had in the past a security department and they really want to trim down on that, and they'll want to bring in a consultant or a consultant team instead and use them on a part-time basis. Anytime there's a need for reviewing governing documents, and again, this is usually when there's new leadership or management or a change in location, and those governing documents are your policies, plans, procedures. Another big time when consultants can and should be used, as I mentioned before, was business travel, but right above that, anytime there's a recent security event. So is there major theft, break-ins, vandalism, shooting, fights, anything like that, you really want to relook your processes and procedures and all those governing documents that we talked about. Unfortunately, it usually ends up waiting until something happens before a company goes and reassesses all of their security measures. For individuals, a lot of the same things apply here. An individual that moves to a new area, they may want an assessment done, crime rates, statistics, and that type of information. If they're having concerns about crime, maybe neighbors have break-ins or other people that they know, and they're concerned, they really want to get a good look at if they should be concerned and if they're doing the right things to protect their families and loved ones. And also trips or vacations. Great time to hire a consultant, and we'll talk about that shortly. All right, so one of the first sort of products or services that I'd like to talk about with Redy Protective Services is a travel risk assessment. And what this is a report that we provide to our clients, whether it's a company or an individual going on vacation. I should say a company sending someone on work travel, maybe a conference or a meeting at another in another state or location, and then individuals going on vacations or traveling, and whether it's stateside or international, these risk assessments really help you understand, our clients understand, what are the risks associated with my travel, what are the threats, what can I do to better protect myself. And these are especially good when you're going overseas to a new location. I know myself, I have a lot of anxiety when I go to new locations. I'm looking around, I'm not able to enjoy myself as much as my family or friends are, because I'm not always the concerned one. So having a report like this, having this assessment done, really helps out lower the stress factor for individuals. And all right, so next, our active shooter or active assailant training. And the image here is one of our training sessions that we had in a church several years back. They had their not the entire congregation, but folks, leadership of the church got together. They wanted to know what they can do differently to better ensure parishioners and to protect them. So we offer really three types of active shooter or active assailant training. The first one is what we call active shooter 101. And what that is really is awareness training. We follow the Department of Homeland Security sort of run, hide, fight methodology. And it gives a good rundown on what people can do, what they should be aware of, what they need to look out for, and then how to kind of respond to active shooter event. The second one we call our active assailant or active shooter preparedness and response training. And what this does is really helps an organization build a plan. And that plan is going to include things such as what we should be doing before an event even happens. What should we be doing on a day-to-day basis to prepare? And, you know, things such as preparing a plan, having response phone numbers, things like that in place. And then what do we do during? What does leadership do? And what should everyone else do during an actual event? What is our response? What is our organization's response? So this builds on the active shooter 101. It's not just about individuals now, it's about the organization now. And then the third part of that is, what do we do after the event? How do we get accountability of our people? Who do we contact? What is our plan? If media shows up, what are we going to do as an organization? And the third one we do is builds on the second and first ones. And this is maturing our program. So what it is taking the plan, checking it, reviewing it, making sure that it still all works, and then integrating that plan with local law enforcement and emergency response personnel, whether it's fire or medical personnel. And that really sort of ties everything together, so they don't just get the call and have to respond. They've already met people, they've already practiced it, practiced the response, and it really helps build the program and gives people assurance that their protection is valued. All right, physical security assessments. We do these for regular houses, individuals' houses, if they have like garages, warehouses, or storage, I should say storage units, and then also for schools, government organizations, companies, anyone. The assessment methodology is basically the same for everyone. However, the look of the product will be different depending on what the client's individual needs are. So we do customize and tailor all of our products to our clients' needs. So generally, during the physical security assessment, we're going to review past incidents in the area. We're going to make sure that we take a good look at the organization's existing security plans and their policies and procedures. We do this so that we know how responses are supposed to occur, or how prevention activities are supposed to occur. And then we use that information a little bit later on to tie in what actually occurs. So like that third bullet, we meet with key leaders in the organization to discuss how things in the local area impact security for that organization. We do our walk around, we do our inspection, our audit, our visit. We look through everything methodically, check everything, record everything. We interview with employees or individuals and ask them about those policies and procedures that we looked at. This is really a check to make sure that what's in place is actually being implemented. And that's very important, because the best plans are nothing if no one follows them. So we'll identify resources and capabilities that can be used, cameras, locks, things of that nature. And in the end, it culminates with a report of findings, including the good things that are going on, and things that can be improved upon. And that can be either submitted or briefed to leadership, however the client wants it. All right, business organization consulting. We are a consultant company. I have a great deal of experience, and many of our employees also have a great deal of experience in organizational consulting. So if an organization needs to revise or be redesigned to be more efficient, more effective, more cost effective, we take a look at everything that's in place, including organizational charts, lists of functions, duties, all these governing documents, and we take a look at that, and then we'll go ahead and verify also that that those documents are in place. So there's many things as far as consulting. It really depends on what the client needs. Do they need a total redesign, or do they just need a review to make sure that they're doing the right things and that everything is in place properly? All right. So I'm going to have 3 commonly asked questions here. The first one, I'm not a big business owner. Can I afford to hire a security consultant? Of course, I'm going to say yes. Redy Protective Services will find a solution for anyone. We're not looking to take advantage of people, and we're not looking to scare people into paying money. There are many organizations out there that attempt to scare people and get them to spend money on security products that they don't need. This isn't that. We're really looking to help the individuals. I'm doing this because this is what I want to do, and I really do want to help people. So if you're or if you're a small business, start small. Just take a look at what you need. If you just want an assessment done, just do an assessment, and it really will pay off in the end. So just do it one little thing at a time. You don't have to spend a ton of money up front. Really, when a major security incident happens, now it's too late. Everyone wants to throw money after the fact, but that doesn't help or undo the damage that was done. So really, it is never too soon to look at your security within your organization. All right, number 2, why should I hire a consultant? All right, security consultants and security consultant companies such as Redy Protective Services are professionals. This is what we do. We aren't some fly-by-night group that put themselves together and go out and talk a good game. I've done this for many, many, many years, and this is what I do, and I have a great deal of knowledge, and the folks that work for me have a great deal of knowledge on what the latest threat trends are in the world, what the crime statistics are for certain areas. They have research capabilities that really help us do our job properly. And if an untrained individual wants to dig around on the internet and find some articles, that's great. But we all know the risks of just digging around on the internet. You can find anything you want to find, whether it's true or not. So leave it to the professionals. Security consultants are unbiased. I'm not looking to tell you what you want to hear. I'm looking to tell you what reality is. And that's that fresh set of eyes from someone outside of the company that can come in, and I'm not swayed by relationships. I just come in, I tell it like it is, and we give the assessment. It's fair, it's neutral, it's impartial, and do with it as you will. Lastly, I mentioned this a little bit before, the duty of care. So employees have an obligation to protect their employees, the same as if as parents have an obligation to protect their children. So make sure that you're taking care of your employees. They will see it, they will appreciate it, they know that you care and that you're looking out for them, and they will work harder and they will not leave your organization because they're afraid to come in. They don't feel safe. All right, last commonly asked question. Why is Redy Protective Services the best choice? What makes us a better pick than any other company out there? Sure, there's lots of very large companies with tons of people that can do these same types of activities. What gives Redy Protective Services the advantage is that we have a global network of regional security experts. Not in every country. There's, I think, last I checked, there was about 195 countries in the world. Of course, we don't have folks in every country, but I've used my time in the military and my time contracting overseas to build a good network of security professionals in pretty much every continent in the US. And I'm sorry, every continent in the world. And many of those people are former military or former law enforcement, former independent contractors. So they know how to do this stuff. If we have a client who's going overseas to one of those countries, that's how I get the most relevant, accurate, timely information. I don't just look on a website. I reach out to our regional security experts to get that information. Our products were developed and refined over many years. I've developed our product formats myself, and I've worked in Department of Defense, Department of State, private organizations, and I've used all those things that I've learned in those products that I've used in the past and modified them to the best. So I stand behind our products, and our services were affordable. We offer training and consulting services. We have a wide range of products. Again, please visit our website or contact if you have any questions at all. Lastly, the commitment, my company's commitment to you. We will provide accurate, timely information you can rely on. So with that said, thank you very much. And here's my information again. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all today, and I'll turn it back over to you, Matt.
All right, thank you. That was fascinating stuff. Hopefully we can leave that up on the screen for a minute so you can take down his information or screenshot it. Really interesting story and great business, really needed, obviously, in today's society. So we're going to open it up for just a few questions. We have our local audience here and our global audience. So we'll just take a couple of questions for a few minutes if anybody here has any or online.
I guess that was pretty in depth then.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Well, one of the questions I'm seeing is, your transition from your military service into your private business endeavor. I think that's a common theme with a lot of the viewership here is, how do you do that? I mean, some people have been successful doing that. Others are still in the middle of that. So maybe you can talk for a minute just about your transition from military service in the early stages of development of your business and how you really got this thing off the ground. I know that's probably a really long story, but maybe the short version.
I'll give you the short version. So yes, I retired. I retired as an officer, like I said, as a major. That doesn't mean I slid right into some great job or started my company right when I retired. I had a good 6-month period of time while I was struggling. I was not working. I was living off of, my retirement check and credit cards, which when you're married with young kids, it's not very much. So I took jobs that I could get and decided to go ahead and start my own company. So, and to do that, I didn't really have a whole lot of help at the time. There probably was organizations like Ops for Vets and some of these other ones that were willing to help out folks, but really it was sort of a trial and error, was the way I did it. First started off creating an LLC. It's not super expensive, but that was really my first step. And then the second step was begin registering to get certified and to be able to contract or bid on contracts. And from there, really setting up a advertising, and which I am not very good at. So that part of it is still a work in progress, setting up a website and trying to advertise. But really, the thing I guess I would suggest is get all your stuff in place first for the company. It's not super expensive. It just takes time. and then go ahead and start your looking for the clients, because it's a lot easier to get work once you're established as a legitimate company.
That's great. Thank you. So on that note, what about, we have two more questions, actually. The first one is, how did you get your first client or two?
So that was really through a Facebook page that I developed for the company. And it was my first few clients were really friends from back home. And one was a military guy that I used to work with in a that we were in a Facebook group. I let him know I have this company, and he happened to be doing some overseas vacation. So he said, "Hey, do me up an assessment for this." He was going over to Eastern Europe, and that was really my first one. And then a few friends from back home. So it starts off very slow, but that's a good thing. It helps you kind of refine your processes and procedures.
That's great. Thanks. So that was 2018, right?
Yes.
Cool. So social media, obviously, like it or hate it, it's one of the most important things we can be doing as business owners. So if you're not on social media, if you're not active on it, probably should reconsider that. All right. Last question here.
Yeah, you spoke of sort of the difference between hiring a professional security consultant versus somebody that's sort of unqualified. And how would somebody determine if they're looking to hire somebody, what certifications are there? How do they know that they're getting somebody that is qualified or isn't qualified?
Oh, that's a great question as well. So the state of Texas, up until a few years ago, to be a security consultant, you actually had to be licensed and registered. I believe there are still a few states that require that for security consulting. Unfortunately, Texas did away with it a few years ago, and that sort of opens up the floodgates to anyone anyone can say they're considered a security consultant now in Texas. And what I would recommend is do some checking into the company. Does it look legit? Talk to the person, ask them. I'll provide all of, any of my training and certification, experience, resume, anything like that to a client to let them, to prove to them that I'm legitimate. Someone who isn't legitimate will probably talk a whole lot, but not be able to provide any documentation to sort of support their claims. Unfortunately, without the actual licensing and in place at a state, it is difficult, and it's hard to judge.
Cool, great answer. Thanks. All right, we do have a fourth question, actually. So, and then we'll move on to our next speaker. But this is really fascinating stuff. I wish we had more time. So, last question is: how do you decipher, at the beginning, starting as a sole proprietor or forming the LLC? I know you started the LLC right away, which I like that idea as a business guy. But how did you make that decision back in 2018?
I'll be honest, I really didn't know what I was doing back then. And I wish I would have had a little more assistance from, again, like organizations that are available now. There's so many organizations out there, especially for veterans, to help you answer your questions, get you what you need, or at least, make some recommendations and suggestions. I was shooting in the dark. I'll be honest. I believe I did the right thing because I'm still around today. But unfortunately, it was a little bit of luck, and I would say rely on the organizations that are out there to provide those expertise.
Great, thank you. And that's a great part about this seminar that we have in this series is you're going to get this information for free that you can go implement in your business. There's obviously tax advantages and liability protections built into starting a corporation like an LLC or an S Corp. You definitely want to get some legal advice. I think if you're looking to go that route, sole proprietor, a lot of people use to start their businesses because it's a little bit easier until they get some revenue going. But I think you were smart to do it from the get-go. It just protected you liability-wise as an entity, and also hopefully saved you on taxes once you started generating revenue. So thanks for answering that. And again, just want to reiterate as we transition here about what we're doing here. You know, having skin in the game is so important. And all of you here today have skin in the game. I like these banners behind me. I mean, you can see some of them, but I'll tell you what's on here if you can't see. You know, the Veteran Entrepreneurship Training Series is about 4 things: learning together, securing contracts together, creating jobs together, and connecting together. So that's what we're doing here today. Really glad you all are a part of it. All right, so we're going to move on to our next speaker here. But before we do, I think we have a short video to give you.
Join us at the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Learn the ropes as you trade ideas and opportunities with experienced buyers and suppliers. Together, let's elevate and redefine the business landscape. Brought to you by the ARC and Ops for Vets. Handshakes, not handouts.
Okay, I think we are back here. So virtual round of applause for Andrew. We appreciate his time. And now I'm going to introduce our next speaker. So Shanae Pharaoh is the District Small Business Liaison for Caltrans, covering San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Her job is to empower small businesses by informing them about contracting opportunities, encouraging certification, and connecting sellers with buyers from Caltrans. Please welcome Shanae.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction, Matthew. Okay, so good morning. My name is Shanae Pharaoh, and I am the Small Business Liaison for Caltrans District 8, covering Riverside and San Bernardino counties. And I am happy to be here today to share information with you guys. This series has provided a lot of information to small businesses, and I'm also learning myself. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so today's program is going to consist of important notices. I will give a short overview of Caltrans Small Business Program, and then we'll get into doing business with Caltrans. So Caltrans has a non-discrimination policy statement. The California Department of Transportation, under Title VI of Civil Rights Act of 1964, ensures no person in the United States shall, on the grounds of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefit of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Caltrans makes every effort to ensure non-discrimination in all of its services, programs, and activities, whether they are federally funded or not, and that services and benefits are fairly distributed to all people, regardless of race, color, or national origin. In addition, Caltrans facilitates meaningful participation in the transportation planning process in a non-discriminatory manner. Related federal statutes, remedies, and state law further those protections to include sex, disability, religion, sexual orientation, and age. So if any discrimination does occur, there is a a way to file a complaint. And to obtain more information about Title VI, you can contact the Title VI branch manager at the information on the screen. Okay, and now we'll do a small business overview of our program. So there are currently 3 team members who ensure small business programs goals are met. Those 3 people are myself, the DSPO, Suzanne, she is our employee and strategic engagement manager. And then we just got a new small business manager. Her name is Abigail Delgado. I'm usually the first line of contact when you have any questions regarding any small business matters, including certifying, procurement opportunities with the department, and any outreach. If I'm ever not available, there are 2 other lines of contact that you can reach out to who can answer your questions. So what do we do at the Small Business Office? Our goal is to educate internal and external partners on the value of certifying as a small business, disadvantaged business, or disabled veteran business enterprise. We also provide information on how to certify and answer questions along the path to certification. We conduct and participate in outreach events such as this one to encourage small business participation. After the events, we track and evaluate our performance to ensure we are providing quality services that are working and to improve in areas that are not. So we cultivate partnerships within the community, such as this organization, and other government agencies to collaborate on ideas and efforts to bring the most opportunities to small businesses and to meet our small business goals. We also market Caltrans' upcoming contracts and procurement opportunities to small business firms that you guys may not be aware of otherwise. So we do offer a few things in our office. So we provide an opportunity to meet with staff for one-to-one meetings to discuss certification and to gain knowledge about contracting and bidding opportunities and their processes. We also host mandatory pre-bids, which are a networking event that provides small businesses, which is usually in construction, the opportunity to meet and form connections with prime contractors. We do have a number of mandatory pre-bids scheduled and anticipated before the end of the year. So if you are a contractor or a subcontractor, you want to get onto our mailing list so that way you are receiving the information and the dates about those mandatory pre-bid meetings. If you subscribe to our small business email, you will get notifications regarding those projects. We also have our minor program with projects specifically for small business firms for projects up to $388,000, with our minor A program being up to $1,250,000. The minor program is a great way for small firms to become primes on projects. And last but not least, we have our Cal Mentor program, which is architects and engineers mentor program where large firms are paired with small firms, and they're encouraging small A&E firms to participate in those A&E contracts. So for our outreach, so you can find important information on current projects and upcoming events on Contractors Corner and our Look Ahead report. Upcoming events may be found on the Caltrans Small Business Calendar. So if you want to take a moment to scan our QR codes, you may do so now. We put our statewide events on our CT calendar. So if you're not located in the Southern California area, there's on the CT calendar, you will be able to find projects in your area or meetings in your area. Okay, so now we'll move into how to do business with Caltrans. And hopefully I can provide you some information that you don't know already to help you to land a contract with our department. So Caltrans recognizes 4 types of certifications. Those certifications are the small business, including micro, which is SB, the small business with the purpose of public works, SBPW. We recognize this disabled veteran business enterprise, and DBE, this disadvantaged business enterprise. So for the requirements for small business and small business with public works, the eligibility requirements are you must be independently owned and operated. You cannot be dominant in the field of operation, meaning that you can't be the only person providing that service. Your principal office must be located in California. So if your principal residence is somewhere else, then you are not able to be SB certified. Your owners must also live in California. You have to have 100 or fewer employees and average annual gross receipts of 16 million or less over the last 3 tax years. For the public works, it's everything that's included in the small business, except for you can have 200 or you can have up to 200 employees or less, and your gross receipts can be up to 37 million or less over the last 3 years. For a disabled veteran business enterprise requirements, you must have a service-oriented disability of at least 10%, through the U.S. military, naval, or air service. You also must be at least 51% owned by one or more disabled veterans. You must reside in California, and you must be managed or controlled by a disabled veteran. And for our disadvantaged business enterprise, you must be a U.S. citizen or resident alien. You must be a member of a socially and economic disadvantaged group. You have to have a personal net worth of less than 1,320,000 and demonstrate that you are not able to accumulate substantial wealth. You cannot have an average annual receipt over the firm's previous 3 fiscal years in excess of 26 million, depending on the primary business activity. You must be a for-profit business where socially and economically disadvantaged DBE owners own at least 51% interest and have managerial and operational control of the business operation. You must also not be tied to another firm in such a way to compromise its independence and control. And you must also hold the certain license or credential if it's required. For our contractors, they are required to have certain licenses, and also for our architects and engineers. So why is it important to be certified? So Caltrans has specific goals that we have to reach every year. So sometimes these are either on the calendar year or the fiscal year. So the small business, our goal is 25%. For DBBE, it's 5%. Well, it's 3%, but Caltrans has a set goal for itself of 5%. And then the DBE is at 22.2%. So why should you be further certified? So firms listed in the SB DBBE database on DGGS website, if you are certified, you will be listed on there. You will also be recognized by other state departments and local reciprocity partners. So if you certify, you have access to all of the departments that also recognizes those certifications. And then you'll also receive invitations to our procurement fairs, pre-bids, and other outreach events. We also help SB and DBBE goals on their contracts. So sometimes we have contracts where there is a specific goal that has to be met by either the purchaser or a contractor. And if you are SB or DBBE, you're more likely to be chosen because you will help that company or that firm reach its goal. So we want you to know that you're not alone when seeking work to work with Caltrans or when looking to get certified in any of the certifications. Myself and other DSPLs across the state provide one-on-one assistance directly to our small businesses and are here to discuss strategies on working with our agency and how to work with Caltrans. We also provide technical assistance on a variety of topics, including preparation and submission of applications for the certification. We'll review this. So we'll review this, the submission and application for certification, and we'll review this later in the presentation. We also assist and navigate the online contracting portals such as Cal eProcure and Contractors Corner. We will route other questions where appropriate to the subject matter expert within our department. We also host and a variety of public outreach opportunities to increase the visibility of our department to our small business community. Those events include the mandatory pre-bid meetings, procurement fairs, contractors boot camps, and events such as this one today. And finally, we are a resource to our own staff within Caltrans who have purchasing and contracting needs and are trying to source small businesses. So if we receive information that a buyer within Caltrans is seeking a specific service, they'll contact us, and then we have a list of the small businesses that we work with, and we will provide them with the information. So if you are certified, you are more likely to get contacted because we have your information. If you're not certified, we don't have your information. So how to get certified? So it's a relatively easy process. The SB and DBBE certifications are online applications submitted through the Department of General Services. You will visit the Cal eProcure statewide marketplace and select Get Certified. After you submit the application and required documents, you should hear back in pretty much immediately, if not within a few days. You will also need to renew your certification every two years for renew. So for SB, you renew every 2 years. For DBBE, you renew every 1 year unless you are SB certified as well. Okay, so this is a website that we go on to view all of our certified firms. So I do want to mention that if you do certify, you want to make sure that you keep your information up to date, because sometimes I'll go on here and I'm looking for certain services and the information is either not up to date. You also want to make sure you have a website, because if I go on there and I only see a number or an email address, I'm more than likely you're not easily accessible. So I'm going to look for a company that has a website that I can actually see their information and see what services they provide. What else? Website, number is up to date. Okay, I think that's all. Okay, so this is a website you want to go to get certified. When you go on here, you want to log in to make sure you see all of the information. I'm at the bottom of the screen or midway through the screen, you'll see the Get Certified tab. You want to click on that. And then it'll take you to this screen at the bottom. So you'll read through all the information. There's also a video on here. And then at the bottom of the screen, you'll click on the Get Certified or Apply. And then you follow the instructions on there. It's pretty easy. So now that you're certified, after your certification, you want to contact your DSPL, let them know that you are certified, because we do have a in-house vendors list. Every district has a vendors list that they keep on their computer. I send my list out to my purchasers every month. So if you're on my list, if you contacted me and let me know what you provide, you send me your capability statement, your information gets sent out to buyers every month. So when they're looking for something to purchase, all they have to do is go to that list, and they know who I am and they know my list, because whenever they see me, they're like, oh, you're the one who sends out those lists. So they do work. So just so you know, so to contact me in District 8 for Riverside and San Bernardino County, this is my information. So you can contact the D8 Small Business at dot.ca.gov. You can also contact me directly, but you'll get more, there's a higher chance that you'll get contacted quicker if you reach out to the DSBO, to the inbox. And then this is a link to contact all the other DSBOs in the state. You also want to attend the outreach events, because there's always new information coming out, and those are the best way to get information. We just heard that there is a mentor protege program coming out for contractors. So if there's any contractors out there and you guys are interested in being a part of that program, go onto our website, look for the mentor protege program for contractors, and there's an application there. You can also find Caltrans projects and contracts to bid on, and then sign up for our mailing list so that you don't miss any of the information. Okay, so Caltrans contracting opportunities. So we have a few different contracting opportunities that are available. So the first one is procurement. So Caltrans purchasers purchase directly from suppliers. We also have construction contracts for construction projects on California right-of-ways or at Caltrans facilities. And we also have A&E contracts, professional / consultant services contracts. So there is a budget for procurement, construction, and A&E contracts. And we just found out recently that we are continually to increase those dollars. So there's more money coming out every single year. So you want to make sure that if you are, architects and engineers. So you want to make sure that you are consistently looking at these contracts. And also going back to procurement, if you haven't received any business within those 2 years that you're on there, or maybe even the 1 year, you want to just make sure that your information is kept up to date, because even if someone hasn't contacted you within that time frame, it doesn't mean that they won't. So you want to make sure that your stuff is up to date so that when your time does come up, you are accessible. So how do we find contracts? So in order to find contracts, you're going to go to the Cal Procure website and you're going to click Start Search. In order to find specifically Caltrans projects, our department number is 2600. You can also browse, use this menu button and browse any other department you want to browse. You want to put your product or your service name in the event name box and make sure that it's not plural. And then you just go on search. So this is a list of all of our contracts that we had available back in May. You know that it's District 8, which is San Bernardino and Riverside, because the beginning numbers will start with our districts. So this is, the first one is District 8, the second one is District 2, District 3, so on and so forth. To find out the information about that specific contract, you can click on it and then it'll have a view event package. So that'll have all the information in there that tells you about the contract. Something you want to pay close attention to is the event end date, which is actually the bid deadline. So on here, it was May 11, 2023, 10 a.m. So that means that this bid is due by that date at that time. If it's in there at 10:01, it will not be counted. So this is just after you go to the event package, this is what it looks like. So it provides you all the information, including how to submit your bid. Okay, so that's it for Contractors Corner. At the next meeting, I'll go over the DBE contracts. So for our Contractors Corner, this is where our construction contracts are housed. So let's see. You'll go to our Caltrans website, dot.ca.gov, and you will go to the URL that's on the screen, or you can scan the code and it takes you to Contractors Corner. If you are a first-time bidder, you will have to click on that and it'll provide you with information because there's a number you have to have in order to bid on our contracts. Okay, so in order to find the contract, you have to go to the tab that says Advertise. And on our Advertise tab, it has whether it's advertised this week, the week before, if it's postponed, the next week, or however. And then also our upcoming projects. So this is what it looks like. When you go on here, it does provide the list of bid items. So if you are a supplier or a subcontractor, you want to go on here, look at the list of bid items, because that'll tell you if you should contact the prime to bid on any of the projects. So sometimes they're still on here, sometimes there's asphalt on here, guardrail, what other things have I seen? Gravel. So there's a number of things that you can find on this list of bid items that you can actually bid on with the prime contractor that some people don't know about. They think everything's just on Cal eProcure, but this is a way to get a Caltrans contract without actually bidding on the project yourself. And then also you want to pay attention to the bid open date on here because that's also the close date. And then we also have whether it has a DBE requirement. So this one at the top has a 3% DBE requirement. So that means if you are a DBE, you are more likely to be selected to work on that project because you will help that contractor meet its goals. Okay, and to find projects that are not advertised yet, but you want to kind of just see what's coming down the pipeline, so that way you can be prepared for it when it does come out. We have a 24-month look ahead report, which is also under the Advertise tab. So you'll click on that, and then you put in the criteria that you're looking for. And like I said before, for District 8, we are under 08. So these are all the projects that are going to be coming out within the next 24 months for District 8. And it provides you with pretty much all the information you need to know. And then you are able to see if you want to prepare to bid on that contract. All right, our next one is our A&E contracts, which is architects and engineers. So if you are an architect or if you're an engineer, this is for professional services. So this is also in our Contractors Corner, but it's under general information. So you'll go to the general information tab, click on architectural and engineering contract information. And then it provides you with pretty much the same information that the Contractors Corner does for the construction contact. So at the top, you'll see advertisements. So it'll advertise all the projects that are coming up that you can bid on as an A&E contract, an A&E firm. It also has a look ahead report, which is kind of small in here. It also goes for the 24 months, so you can see what's coming up the pipeline. And then at the bottom over here in my right-hand corner, you will see the streamlined A&E process. So it tells you exactly how to bid on these contracts, how to submit it, and actually be successful in securing a contract. So these are for consultant services. And there's a lot of different names for it. Okay, and that is it for my presentation. This is our small business top 6 resources. I don't know if you guys can see it on your screen, but I do have the QR links for the Cowie Procure, for our CT Caltrans outreach calendar with all our events, for the 24-month look ahead report, our past purchases, and we didn't talk about past purchases, but there is a way for you to see how Caltrans or what Caltrans has purchased in the past, so that you're able to see what kind of business you want to get into, or what you may want to sell or not. And then our D8 mailing list is at the bottom. And I'll leave that up for a minute. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the frequently asked questions. So I didn't split it up like Andrew, but they're all here. So how long does it take to get paid with Caltrans? I think that's one of like the main questions that we received and working with the government, period, because the government just takes a long time to pay. So it typically takes about 45 days to get paid with our prompt pay system. If you are a subcontractor or a supplier, you will get paid a subcontractor or a supplier to a prime. You'll get paid 7 days after the prime gets paid. So if it takes 45 days for the prime to gets paid, then they have 7 days to pay you after that. The primes receive payment based on the contract term agreement. If you are just a supplier that a purchase was made with our Cal card, I believe it's just the 45 days. And how do we sign up to receive purchases using the Cal card? So you do have to be registered to actually receive payment through our Cal card, which is the fastest way to get business with Caltrans. The purchaser making the order will provide you with the form. It's called an LIC 260 to complete along with the purchase request. So if they contact you and say, hey, I want to quote on this product, and then they agree to purchase it, then they'll send you all the information that you need to actually receive payment through the Cal card. And then how do I find out about upcoming projects with Caltrans? So the best way to do that is to sign up for our mailing list, and you'll receive our monthly newsletter and any upcoming events, any upcoming events that may come up, such as this one, or any other things that we're planning. And that is it for me. All right. Thank you guys for your time.
So if you can help me watch,
Okay.
some more questions of you, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
First, we want to give a shout out. I don't know if you can hear me, but give a shout out to Sam. We saw your chat, so thank you for chiming in there. So any questions from the audience here locally? Any engineers, architects, contractors here that want to ask questions?
Yeah. I've seen several instances where there's DVBE requirements built into a contract requirement. Never seen it in an AE contract. Do those exist for AE contracts?
They do. Sometimes they don't put them in there, but most of the time they do. Yeah. Yes.
I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
So you mentioned earlier that small business and people have a 25% goal. My understanding is not required. That change?
No, it is a requirement.
I don't know if everybody
Oh.
on this phone. Just you can just repeat his question back so everybody online can hear it.
Sure. Okay, so his question was that he's seen that there was a 25% small business and 5% DVBE, and he's asking, is it a requirement now? It is a requirement for all the departments in California to meet those goals. Yes, it's still a goal, but it's also now a requirement.
For A&E contracts, what percentage do you encourage DVE, or can we as an AE contractor say, why isn't it DVE? What do we need to do the next one?
So the way you make it, are you saying DVBE or DBE? Okay, so, it just depends on whether it's a federal contract or if it's a state contract. If it's a state contract, then they put those goals, if it's a state contract, they put those goals on there automatically. If it's federal, then, DBE is on there. So if it has any state dollars, then it's a DB, it'll be both SB or DVBE. Even though they don't require it, it's still our goal to reach that goal, if that makes sense. So Caltrans will still encourage, well, it's through Caltrans, so they'll still encourage them to meet that 25% goal, even if it's not a requirement, if that makes sense.
Well, the isolation of that is
Okay.
if the goal is not required and we go on as DVE, there's zero preference.
Yes, there's zero preference, yes.
So how do you make it a preference?
I will have to get back with you with that question.
DP is the standard 10% rating. Seeing that we would have the same advantage of a non-AE contract, and we don't.
Yeah, I agree. I have to get back to you on your question. Okay.
I have two more
Oh, go
questions.
ahead.
So we were talking about payment. You say that the prime contractor will get paid 45 days and the sub will get paid 7 days after that. Is the sub getting paid 7 days after that? Caltrans, or are we reliant on prime?
On the prime, but our prime pay system requires that prime to pay you guys within 7 days. So if they don't, then they get dinged. Does that, yeah.
And then CalCard, what is the maximum that a CalCard can be used?
It's up to $10,000. Yeah, to $10,000.
It was at $10,000 for CalCard. It's basically a credit card.
Yes.
So there isn't a 45-day.
It's still a 45. So I'm not sure exactly how long it takes for that to process, but I believe it's still 45 days. Yeah. You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions?
What's your topic for next month?
We're gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna incorporate a couple of more things that I did not put in this one, so that way that it's not the same repetitive information all the time.
I have one more question. So
Okay.
for those of us who aren't contractors or architecture engineers, how could we help you, in maybe connecting with those people, or what could we do to help you find those people?
So that would be great because we're always looking for new people. Sometimes we have a hard time finding DVBEs. They're just not in our database like they should be. So just spreading the word, letting them know about our website, letting them know about our email address. Our mailing address. So that way that they can certify and get the information. They can even reach out directly to me so that we can get them started.
For those online, can we just put that information back up? I don't know what slide that was.
Okay, sure.
2 seconds. Make sure there's probably on.
Yep, right there. I don't know if it's big on their screen. Hopefully it is. Yeah.
Any other questions? Anything else from online chat?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Shanae.
Thank you.
Another big virtual round of applause for Shanae. We'll just leave that up here for a minute. And by the way, you can go back and view this presentation later and pause it, capture these QR codes later. But we just want to leave it up here for another minute. So that's great. All right. Well, we're getting ready to finish here. Anything else from Al or anybody online chatting that wants to chime in? We have a few more minutes here. But while we wait on that, I just want to remind everyone of the next date coming up. So kind of the goal of these pre-trade show skin in the game vet sessions is to get skin in the game, right? Coming, being a part of what we're trying to do education wise, networking even, and getting that poker chip. For those of you here live today, you get the poker chip. Unfortunately, the booth spots for this year's trade show are all full, but you can get on the list for next year, 2024, which will be November 6th, 2024. So if you get enough poker chips, then Al will sponsor you through Vets to have a free booth at the trade show next year. So keep that in mind. The next event for the pre-trade show sessions like this is, make sure I get the date right here, September 13th. So we'll be right back here at this location on September 13th. And then of course online. So make sure you come to that. Shanae will be speaking again, and get your poker chip and get on the docket for next year's trade show. It's a pretty big event. I went last year and had a table, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot of different businesses, a lot of different speakers. The Marine Band is playing. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening there. So make sure you take part in that. And if there's no other questions, we'll adjourn today. I don't know if we want to play that video one more time, Daniel, just as an exit here. That'd be cool. We'll see you guys next time.
Join us at the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Learn the ropes as you trade ideas and opportunities with experienced buyers and suppliers. Together, let's elevate and redefine the business landscape. Brought to you by the ARC and Ops for Vets. Handshakes, not handouts.